The kick landed harder than anyone expected. Not because it broke bones, but because of the silence that followed. In the middle of the mess hall, boots scraped, trays froze midair, and a woman named Lena staggered but didn't fall. She caught herself on the edge of a steel table, breath sharp, eyes lowered. The sergeant didn't apologize, he smirked. And in that moment, no one knew they were watching the beginning of his end. Lena had learned long ago that reacting instantly only fed men like him. She straightened slowly, hands trembling just enough to betray the storm inside her. The mess hall smelled of overcooked rice and metal polish. 100 soldiers pretended not to see her. That hurt more than the kick. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. Lena wasn't combat arms. She wasn't loud. She drove supply trucks and fixed what others broke. To most of them, she was background noise. A utility. Easy to dismiss. The Sergeant Hell had made that clear from the day she arrived. Comments disguised as jokes. Orders barked just a second too late so she'd fail. Today, when she crossed his path carrying a tray, he decided to remind her of her place. And yet, as Lena walked out of the mess hall, she felt something settle instead of shatter. A decision. 3 hours. That was all it took. Back in the motor pool, the afternoon sun cut through hanging dust like blades. Engines idled. Tools rang. Lena slid into the driver's seat of her truck. Hands steady now. Replayed the moment again, not with anger, but with clarity. There were cameras in the mess hall. Regulations Hale had violated. Witnesses who thought silence would protect them. She could walk away. Many had. That was the easy path. But easy had never saved anyone. She reported to the administrative office first. Calm voice. Precise words. Dates, times, patterns. The officer listened. Unreadable. Fingers steepled. When she finished, there was a pause so long she thought she'd misjudged everything. Then he stood. Within minutes, procedures moved like clockwork. Calls made. Footage pulled. Statements requested. Lena was asked to wait outside. She sat on a bench, knees bouncing, heart pounding so loudly she wondered if others could hear it. Soldiers passed by, some looked away, others glanced twice, curiosity blooming. Inside, the truth was assembling itself. The video told a brutal story. Hale's boot, the angle, her stumble. No provocation, no justification. Regulations were clear, conduct unbecoming, abuse of authority. And this wasn't his first mark, just the first time someone hadn't stayed quiet. When Hale was summoned, he laughed, confidence wrapped around him like armor. He denied it casually, as if denial alone could erase evidence. But confidence cracks when faced with light. Witnesses were called. One voice shook, another broke. Then a third found strength in numbers. The room filled with truth, and Hale's laughter died a slow, ugly death. Outside, word spread. The bass changed texture. Conversations hushed. A strange stillness rolled through the corridors. Soldiers gathered without realizing they were gathering. When Hale finally emerged, flanked by military police, cuffs cold against his wrists, a ripple moved through the crowd like wind through tall grass. No cheers, no applause, just silence. Lena stood near the back, unseen again, but this time, she chose it. Hal didn't look at her as he passed. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he finally understood what power really was. Later that evening, as the sun bled into the horizon, a young private approached her. Then another. Quiet words, gratitude. Stories whispered of moments they'd buried, thinking no one would ever listen. Lena felt the weight then, not triumph. Responsibility. She sat alone afterward, hands wrapped around a cooling mug, doubts creeping in. Had she ruined a career? Was justice too heavy a price? The questions pressed hard, but so did the memory of that kick, of silence, of fear normalized. She exhaled. Justice wasn't cruelty, it was correction. The next morning, the base felt different. Not safer. As if something unspoken had finally been acknowledged, Lena returned to her truck. Same seat, same engine. She carried herself differently now. Not louder, just firmer. She drove out as the sun rose, dust trailing behind her tires, knowing that change doesn't always arrive with explosions. Sometimes it comes quietly, methodically, 3 hours at a time. Because courage isn't always about fighting back in the moment. Because dignity, once defended, teaches others how to stand. And the silence that once protected wrongdoing had finally learned to speak. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. Your voice matters more than you think. Subscribe to Whispered Words for stories where quiet strength reshapes the world, one truth at a time.